Welcome to Better, the podcast about doing better, being better, and leaving the world a better place than we found it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Better. I am Jay, I'm your host, and I'm always trying to get to the root of how I and we collectively together can be better. So just a couple of quick updates. As you can see, this is a solo episode. You guys have seen me do solo episodes before in terms of like, this is the format for the solo episode, but this is also now the format for the guest episode, which we're doing today. I don't know if it throws you off a little bit that I'm a little bit red and I'm in the red zone. Usually I'm over by the brick. But this just makes it easier so I can see the guest when we're doing remote. And our guest is coming to us remotely today, and we'll talk to him in a few minutes. But a couple of updates. We're almost monetized. Yay! I can't believe it this early. Thank you guys. My last podcast, Shit People Post, it took almost 20 episodes to get monetized, and we now have, did we release 7 yesterday, Ben? I think episode 7. So we'll be monetized by episode 8. Pretty cool. Another thing I want to talk about was you will have now seen, I have recorded and you will have now seen the episode where I did the questions and answers. And I did that, and I did another one about moral code. I did that live with people on Instagram, and everybody ate that up. So we're gonna do more of those in the future. I'm super pumped to do those when we do our next big session of recording, which won't be until I think February, which is when you will likely be seeing this episode. You're gonna notice we're gonna be getting more interactive now that we've got you guys, leaving comments, DMs. I mean, you can stop DMing me anytime. You can just leave the comments. I don't need the DMing. And now we've got we've got more subscribers in. It's all just coming together so beautifully. I love it when a good non-plan comes together. And speaking of a non-plan, I want to talk about the subject that we're going to be talking about today with our guests. So, for some, supplementation has come up a lot for me lately. It came up for me in a big way in 2016 when I was severely injured and I needed to get my health in check. It's sad that it took a almost grave injury and 2.5 years of recovery for me to take my health seriously. But it seems to be a way with a lot of people. Supplementation became part of that journey. And now I have family members who are going through some pretty serious medical things that were, where supplementation was never something they considered in their lives. And I heard something super refreshing from a family member's doctor yesterday. This is a doctor that I've been kind of like, I don't know if I like her very much. But yesterday she really earned some points because she said, I asked her about supplementation for this family member to see if it would help them through their treatments. She said this. She said, I don't know enough about it because they really don't teach it to us in school. However, I will say that what I'm starting to learn, I think it's a positive and you should go with it. And I said to her, I said, do you know how refreshing that is? Because doctors I used to go to back in the day, they would always say, oh, it's nonsense. Oh, they didn't have a place for things like supplementation in treatment plans for patients. And I've been looking at people that have gone through chemo and all these various medical treatments. The people that come out on the other side, they usually have a little bit more energy. They usually have a lot more vitality, a lot more ability to handle what they're going through. They are people that have supplemented regularly for a while. Supplementation, as I've mentioned many times on this podcast, has been a huge piece of the puzzle for me to getting to the point where I wake up every morning and I no longer do this in the morning. Yeah, it's going to take me 13 minutes to open my eyes. Okay. All right. Now I got to get out of bed, and I roll out of bed. It takes me like half an hour to go to bed. I'm like that. I'm like the Rock in the middle of the WWE ring. I spring up out of bed in the mornings, and I really believe that has a lot to do, with diet and exercise, but supplementation. So that's my preamble. That's my intro to this episode. We have a guest today who kind of his Instagram journey kept popping up for me on a regular basis. And then I started to see some people that I knew that were following his journey as well. So we kind of had a conversation. I said, "Oh, it'd be a great guy to have on the podcast." So without further ado, please allow me to introduce to you guys Trevor for Advanced Supps. How's it going? Sup, Trevor?
How's it going, Jay?
Oh, I'm good. I've got I got a workout in today. I got my supplements in today. I've seen the order that the server at the restaurant always laughs at me for, because it's always like so protein heavy in the morning, mounted of eggs and all the protein meats. So I'm feeling good. I got lots of energy this morning.
Yeah, sounds like a good day. Yeah,
it is. So I've obviously gone off and told everybody kind of my journey and how I got started in supplementation a little bit. Maybe we'll talk about it more, but how did you get started? Maybe tell us about your journey because you weren't always a supplementer, right? You weren't like, you didn't pop out of the womb and you were like, give me that protein. You had like everybody, I think you had to grow into it, right?
Yeah. When I was in college, I've been always someone that I've had a checklist of ways I wanted to improve myself and be better personally. And I wanted to grow my self-confidence. I wanted to look better. I wanted to feel better. And in college, I really set out I had a goal of how I wanted to look, be built, be lean. People recognize that I'm disciplined and I'm committed, and for my self-esteem to go up. And I set out on that journey every day, having a checklist of everything that I needed to do, being very committed to that goal. And it was frustrating. Everybody's body is different. Some people see results slower than others. I definitely have a very stubborn body. It was tough. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. It was hard to learn even just about the basics of nutrition. I grew up where a home cooked meal was a microwavable frozen pizza. So, that, yeah. So, learning, about macros and diet. And then I was just desperate to lose weight. So I did every fad diet out there, probably killed my metabolism, was wondering why I couldn't build muscle. I would go from supplement store to supplement store, thinking that, maybe supplements are what I'm missing here. And I would continue getting a lot of conflicting information. One person tells you, "Oh, you're drinking too much water," and the next one tells you you're not drinking enough. So very, very frustrating. Not once did anyone tell me, "Hey, it sounds like you're doing all the right things. Just keep going, and eventually, like, it's going to turn for you." I wish that that's what I was told. And that's something that I had to learn. I mean, there's obviously a lot of things that I learned, but the most important thing was just to keep going. I got into supplements back in my college years. And
when was that? What years?
2010 is when I started college, graduated in 2014. I had this vision of what I was going to look like when I graduated, and I can tell you, I was way off. 13 years later, I'm just like, I'm getting really close to what I had set out to achieve back then. And, I just kept telling myself, you're not going to get there by quitting. So just keep going. I've learned that there are a lot of great supplements out there that really can help you. Finding the right information, people, and supplements can make all the difference. And it can take a lot of time to really figure that out for yourself and find, the people, the products, and the information that you need to get where you're looking to go.
Yeah, I agree. When I first started looking into it, man, it was, it's funny you say the thing about the pizza was, kind of healthy, eating. I think until, I don't want to say the age because it's kind of embarrassing, but until way later than it should have been, I was like, well, it's got vegetables with tomato sauce. And, it's got dairy. It's got meat. It was just ridiculous defense of pizza for the longest time in my life. And when I started, so just to give you a little background, I broke my back in 2016. And by broke back, I mean I smashed everything, I dislocated everything. I couldn't walk. Um, and I got I was told maybe not right now, but you're weak in your back so much that you're at some point you're going to be in a wheelchair for life. And I remember just having stubborn resistance to that idea that it's just nope, not. And I said to them, nope, not a thing. And what ultimately got me back up on my feet was stem cells. And I took the stem cell treatments, did the stem cell surgeries, and everybody kept saying it's experimentative. It's not, there isn't 100% science behind it. And that made me think, well, what else has science behind it, but isn't settled yet, that has very promising looking results? And that was when I really looked at supplementation. And I started off very small, like where most people do. What was the first supplement you started yourself out on? What was the very first thing you did?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure I just went in full head on.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay. You know the stores I'm talking about where you walk in and you're sold a multivitamin, a pre-workout, a fat burner, a test booster, protein, your aminos, and they're like, and what else do you need? You could also get fish oil, a CLA, and you just keep going, and then it just doesn't stop because it's. I was talking to people that were interested in getting a sale. They were not really interested in helping me.
Yeah.
But I was quite naive at the time, and I was desperate. I'm like, I want results. Like, tell me what I need. So, that's that's how I got started there. Really, I wasn't experimenting one thing at a time. I was head on,
Okay. Yeah, mine started differently. I started with whey protein. I think that's probably the most common way that people start out in supplementation. And I because I had so many complications. So stem cell surgery was both great and bad for me. It sped up my metabolism to like where I was when I was 12. So cannot to this day put on weight. If I can do a fasting day and lose 5 pounds. Like that's how crazy my metabolism is. And if I'm not packing away 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day, I lose weight. Like that's how insane my metabolism is now. And it gave me better eyesight and it allowed me to walk, which was fantastic. But I had all these things I had to work through. So it made me go one step at a time with my supplementation.
Yeah.
So I did protein first. It was all about the working out at first, right? It was all about, getting back because at the time when I started it, I was 143 pounds and I'm 6'4". So I was a skeleton, and my biggest weight I'd ever been was 275. So giant Grand Canyon size difference in my size. And so I'm really, really skinny at this point. Everything was about working out. So it was protein, and then it was glutamine, then it was citrulline, then it was glutamine, citrulline, BCAAs, then it was HMB, then it was a test, a test supplement, and then it became about health from there. So then it's the D, the B's, the A's, the zinc, the magnesium, the omega-3s, all these things, vitamin C. I added in a really good creatine, which made all the difference in the world. I don't know why I didn't use creatine. Cheapest. I mean, you might, I don't know, you know more. So, but I would say for me in my journey, creatine has been the cheapest, most impactful workout supplement for me. What do you think is the most impactful workout supplement, at least for you?
Well, first of all, let me just say, like, your approach was brilliant. Like, I don't recommend the way I was sold and got into it. One thing at a time, really. So then what's working, you build off of that. But I love products that help you get a better workout, help your muscles contract harder, break down better, and creatine is a big part of that. I kind of have like these different things that I stack together to get like a more effective, workout and more productive workout. So right in line with, the creatine like you're recommending, but I like to take it with, a few other kind of things. So
what's your, let's do that. So a lot of people that I talk to in a given day, they say to me, well, I would supplement, but that doesn't seem complicated. Science isn't there. Da, 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 da. They say, there's all these reasons why they say they won't. And they also
yeah,
say everywhere they go, supplementation is one of those things. I think we're almost our own worst enemy at times because everybody swears by their own routine. And then somebody's trying to get into it, talks to like 6 different people, and they're like, well, now I have no idea what I should be doing. That's, I think, part of what you do at Advanced Supps, right? You try to figure out what is best for the person, not necessarily what's just, here's what the market says, right? Am I getting that right?
that's why I love what I'm able to do is I've talked with thousands of people. So I've really seen the majority of it, of what people go through. And I've seen many different body types, many different challenges that people have. And not everything is going to work for everyone. And you also need to prioritize, to stay within your budget, and your body only can, really absorb so much at a time. So you really want to prioritize what you're taking, what's going to help you the most. And supplements are supplemental. They're exactly that. They are to help your diet and help your training and help your sleep. They're, and the best product in the world's not really going to do anything if you're not doing those things and working on improving those things on your own. So it's about finding what is going to help improve your routine, in the best way, the most impactful way, like you said.
Right. So what's your personal stack for working out? What do you
Um,
get into?
So I take a pre-workout to give me, just energy and a boost in my aggression for the gym. I've created over 70 sports supplements. So there is a very unique product that I have that combines. There's a couple forms of creatine that don't bloat you. So that's going to push water into your muscles. Then you have vanadyl sulfate that's pushing nutrients in there. So you get this real strong fullness in your muscle. And then arachidonic acid helps your muscles contract harder and break down better. So you get this insane kind of pump, this vascularity, this tight. It's not like a bloated blood flow agents are great because they give you a nice pump, but they're kind of short lived. This is actually like helping your muscles get tighter because you're helping your muscles contract harder and break down better. What it's actually doing is giving you a more productive workout. So especially like I use it when I'm building too, but especially when I'm cutting, it makes such a difference. Because I can't push myself quite as hard. I don't have as many calories. I don't have as many fuel in my workout. So every rep counts.
Right.
So, I love taking that. And then, a post workout that kind of has everything you want in there: your protein, your carbs, your sugars to spike insulin to start the recovery process, your BCAAs, your EAAs, your glutamine. You kind of can get it all in one if you take a wise product for post workout. But those are like my essentials right there.
Good list of essentials. I
Yeah,
uh I have all, we'll probably have to talk because a lot of my that stuff's all separate for me. My
yeah,
supplement, I actually end up buying two toolkits for my supplements, and they're, I remember the first time I took it to the airport and the guy looked at me from TSA and he said, not even a chance in hell you're getting through here. And I was like, what? And I said, it's a clear talk. You can see. He said, anything could be in these pills.
uh,
So so the deal I made with him that got me through was I had to take everything standing there, and they made me wait 2 hours and see if I had any reactions. They're like, check and see my pupils were doing, and if I was tripping out or anything like that. It was super funny. And
wow.
I got through and everything was fine, but I learned never to bring that through to the airport again. I've been slowly compacting I basically break mine into like, workout and then health supplements. So my health supplements, I've been slowly amalgamating them into, a few tidy packages. But I definitely need to figure out how to amalgamate my workout side of things, because it's just so many containers and so many scoops and powder everywhere all the time, and it's kind of crazy. I'll tell you, mass gainer, because of my unique metabolism issues from the stem cells, mass gainer protein. When I found that was a game changer for me. I couldn't even believe there was something like that out there. So that was cool. Having the carbs in there with the protein was nice.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good example of something that some people just tell you, hey, you need a mass gainer if you want to put on more mass, but that's really, it varies person to person. Whenever I take a mass gainer, like I'm putting on way more fat than I am muscle. So it's one of those things where it's like that's important to you. That's not something that I'm necessarily recommending for someone with my body type. So
Right.
but yeah, that's interesting. Like, one of my priorities is helping people get the most value for their dollar and helping them get the most beneficial product they can without taking, tons and tons and tons of pills. So, most things out there are very underdosed. If you want to get everything that you want in good doses, typically you have to take everything separately, like you're doing with your sports stuff. And Otherwise, if you are taking like a complex that combines a lot of things that's supposed to be this proprietary blend, it's usually they just sprinkle a little bit of everything in there just to say it's in there, and then be able to make claims that it can do this and that and that and that, but it's not really dosed to do it effectively. So that's something that's been very important to me is bring out products on the market that are going to give you an incredible value for what you're paying, and you to see the results from it and come back.
So if you're let's say I was not, we'll use Ben. You don't supplement, right, Ben? Okay. So Ben, my producer Ben, doesn't do any supplementation. How much you weigh?
I got weighed yesterday. I was
So 139 pounds, 6 feet, right? Is that what you are? Even though I always think you're 5'6".
I'm 5'10". It's close to 6. Yeah.
Okay, so 5'10", doesn't supplement. Your workouts basically consist of volleyball and baseball, but not much else, right?
Beat Saber.
and Beat Saber on VR, yes. Okay, so and hey, I will say, Beat Saber has kicked my ass a couple times, so it's not like it's a bad workout or anything. I laugh, but it's some of those VR workouts are just bananas now. They're coming out with some really good. There's a boxing one that they have on Oculus right now, and my girlfriend Shauna is in just unbelievable shape. I mean, I sometimes I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, this is what I gotta. This is the benchmark. I'm like, this is terrible. But she was doing the boxing one in VR and Oculus, and she was gassed at the end of it, because you're fully into that world, right? You got this big boxer coming at you, and so all that stuff's cool. But okay, so let's say Ben, I gave you his stats. He comes to you and says, "Hey, Trevor, I've never done supplementation before. How would this process go?" Because what I really want people to understand is if they go to you, what happens when they go to you after this episode? Let's say somebody watched it and they go, you know what? This made sense to me. It's time. What would the process look like if Ben just contacted you tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, it happens every day. I encourage people to reach out with any questions that they have. But if someone's just like, hey, what supplement should I take? Or what do you recommend I do? I mean, it starts with your goals and with what are you doing now? So, obviously,
Ben, by the way, when Ben talks, can you hear him?
I think so.
Yeah, Ben, what is your goal? If you were to go to Trevor today, what would your goal be? Would it be general health? Would it be to bulk up so that you can, walk around the city like this? Like, what is your goal?
I think my goal is general health, diabetic. So I don't want to get bulky. I just want to have that.
Okay.
There you go.
I lost him a little bit.
He's diabetic.
Uh-huh.
And he general health. Just
Yeah.
maintain that general health. Being able to probably be a better volleyball player, better baseball player, a little bit. Those sorts of things.
Okay. I mean, a multivitamin with activated B vitamins, I think is really important. You're going to get better absorption. Something that's very comprehensive, that's dosed well, just is going to be really good for just internal health. And then protein for recovery. I would want to, discuss what his diet looks like, make sure he's getting enough protein throughout the day so that.
No, he's not. Oh, you're right. No, he's not.
So I mean, I would say even you don't want to get bulky, but going to the gym just to have good strength, have good balance, have as you get older, you're going to want to have that strength. You're going to want to be in good routines for lifting. You're doing a lot of cardio, which is great. That's most people's challenge is moving enough. And if you're not having that issue, that's great. I think it'd be great to, get into the gym and just do a couple lifting sessions a week, making sure you're getting enough protein so your body is getting the nutrients that it needs. And just depending on what your goals change over time. So, but that's where I would probably start. Just making sure, recovering and getting the essentials. And then if you do decide that you want to really get serious about putting on some more muscle or getting stronger, then we could move that direction in the conversation.
Okay. Ben has a plan. That's good. So I want to cover, you mind if I throw some objections that I hear from people at you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I had this interesting conversation. So I follow this podcast called Unbiased Science, and I find for the vast majority of what they do in terms of their, the way that they break science down, they do a very good job. However, I also find that they and other medical professionals, they do fall into this pit sometimes where they they learn knowledge about something forever ago, and that bias continues through. And no matter what you present to them, they will say, there is no science behind supplementation. It's a total waste of money. Don't do it. They're very hard line about it. So I came on to the comment section one day and I said my story. And they even went as far as to say, because there was a point in time after, I think it was about 2018, where I kind of started to doubt whether it was right. The funny thing is that the more it works, the more you kind of go, is it working? Because you always feel this great baseline, right? So I went off of them, and I did it around a time when we were doing this crazy Halloween event that was very physically, mentally, it taxed my sleep, it taxed everything. And I came off of it. It was November, and I went, why was that so hard to get through? And I went, oh, right. Yeah, I stopped the supplementation in September. I got back on it. And in 2019, now it's February, March, and I saw the noticeable difference. I said, I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to drop off of my supplements for 2 months and come back on them and see what happens. And the exact same thing happened. My energy went through the floor. I wasn't getting enough out of my workouts. My reps were, my sets were shorter. I was getting less reps in. My sleep deteriorated again. All these negative effects happened. Get back on the supplements, and slowly but surely, everything rose. And again, it took me 60 to 90 days to get back to where I was with the supplementation. But
sure.
So I came at them with all this, right? And I said, it is very clear to me that supplementation helped me. Did I write a white paper? Did I get into a lab and deal with it? Obviously not. But I did. And their response was, you have placebo effect. And then, okay, well, can I have placebo effect to that degree? I don't think I'm a type of person that lets my brain fool me. So let's deal with that objection first. There is no science. It's a waste of money. Somebody says that to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, you can't help those who don't want to be helped. And but there, there is a lot of there are a lot of gimmicks out there. What their experiences might have been misled, or they saw a friend misled, and they're still feeling that, and that's very understandable. There's a lot of things that don't really do what they say they're going to do. There's a lot of claims that shouldn't be made out there, and so that's I hear it quite a bit, and there's nothing wrong with them feeling that way, but everybody's body is different, and when you find something that works for you, then that's a really powerful thing. What's important to know is what the supplements are supposed to do for you. So if you are taking something just because it said I was going to lose weight or I was going to build muscle, you're not doing yourself justice if you don't know how it's going to do that. So, we could take a fat burner, for example. A fat burner in and of itself is not going to cause you to just lose weight. But if it suppresses your appetite and helps you feel fuller quicker, so you eat smaller portions throughout the day, you have more energy and you feel better. You're on that slight calorie deficit because you've been working on your diet, you're eating good portion meals throughout the day, and you feel good, you have good mood support, you have good energy. And it's really helping make things easier as you're in this weight loss journey. Then that's a successful viewpoint on what a fat burner should do. A muscle builder, like I said, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. It's interesting because the two things that I can't use, that my body does not respond well to, fat burners is a big one. I get this really horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I know lots of people use fat burners and they love them, including my girlfriend, who whenever she puts on yoga pants, I think the heavens open up. But I can't use them. And the other one is pre-workout. Even the ones that have like reduced caffeine, for me, I don't know what it is, but I get ungodly itchy to the point of, and I thought maybe it was an allergy to an ingredient. So I tried a bunch of different ones. Like, I'm not the guy that's gonna like try something once and I tried a bunch of them. I couldn't find any allergy links, and I just get, I don't feel good. I feel like I got bugs crawling under my skin. Now, again, I know tons of people that they use like you yourself use pre-workout, and it's amazing for you. But like you said, everybody's different, right? And I've tried so many supplements. Those are the two that I can't.
Yeah, well, with the pre-workout, that is one of the intended effects for them beta alanine and niacin, is to make your skin crawl a little bit, because it's supposed to make you want to move.
Yeah.
But it's very irritating if you take too much, or if you're very sensitive to it. You do start building a tolerance as you take it. There are products that have less in there, or just other ingredients that are going to help more with performance, strength, blood flow, energy, that doesn't have that effect. So you could look at something like that. But at the end of the day, if you have great energy for the gym and you're able to really push yourself and you feel good, the pre-workout's not necessary for you. Pre-workout really helps me, and it helps a lot of people power through their workouts, and helps them wake up for that 6 a.m. workout, or after that long day at work, to go in there and push themselves in the gym. Gives them that extra motivation. But if you don't need that, that's great. You can spend that money on something that's that helps you more, which is the creatine or your protein or mass gainer or something like that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So I guess, did you have any final thoughts on it's not scientifically proven, there's no science behind it?
Well, so actually, I would actually argue that most of the clinical data and research that you see has a lot of bias to it, because it's coming from supplement companies. So I ignore a lot of it. I have focused more on the practical experience that myself and my community has had with things, and going off of their feedback and combining products that I know work well and have worked well for people that I know, And going off of, there's bits and pieces of the clinical research that you can use, but I think the majority of it is experience and knowing what's a good dose of something and what's going to do the job. And that's through experience. The stuff in the lab is usually very artificially created. So,
Okay. So,
yeah. A lot of it is just for marketing. It's to be able to say, hey, this is going to do this and this. It's for claims that, they can back up with this thing that's not going to actually work to that way in practicality or in reality. And that's really unfair for the consumer that's spending their hard-earned money on something. A lot of it is just to essentially mislead you into thinking that it is going to do something. And a lot of people also don't recognize, say, for like a test booster, a lot of times like a test booster out there will just have blood flow agents, things to help raise your libido, give you short-term strength. So you feel like it's doing all those things that's going to, that testosterone does, gives you strength, gives you libido, gives you energy, but it's not actually raising your testosterone. So, that's what's very frustrating with, with a lot of, even ads that I see, that there's a lot of misleading information out there. And a lot of the studies are actually the same way. And I, in most cases, I would tell people, like, you want to buy from people and brands that you trust, where you've gotten a really good experience,
right.
Versus off of like a marketing claim or.
Is there any, like, I kind of feel the same way. I had a funny conversation with my doctor one time, and he said, yeah, supplementation.
Yep.
And I said to him, but you just told me I need vitamins and nutrients. So which is it? And then this is the second objection I'm going to bring up with you. He said, yes, but you have to understand, and I believe it's because homeopathy, naturopathy, supplementation kind of get lumped together. He said, the dilution level is so high, like 250 to 1, that you're not even getting really what they say. You're just basically getting water. And I found that to be an interesting argument, because I know the supplements I use that does not happen. I'm sure with yours it does. Are you finding that? What happens if somebody says that to you? Like, I hear that supplements are so diluted that they don't even really do anything for you.
If you're there's good products out there and there's bad products out there. There's the ones that are going to work because they are dosed well. They're using the forms that are going to be absorbed. And then there's ones that aren't. And if your experience is with the ones that aren't, then that's going to be your perspective for sure.
Right. Okay. So, and then so if somebody says, well, you're saying go off of brands you trust, personal experience of others around you, and that there's good and bad brands out there, that good brands won't dilute, right? It's kind of almost like we're saying, trust your body, which a lot of people aren't necessarily that great at doing, like really listening to their body and understanding what their body needs. So an objection that I hear, probably it's not the most popular objection, but it's definitely one of the leading objections I hear, is that supplementation is the lazy man's way to try to get healthy when you could just get it all from food. And I always laugh when I hear that, because I'm like, do you know how much vegetables, how much fruit you have to eat in a day to get your daily dose? Like, people don't really know. So if somebody says that to you, what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, you can't get it all from food. And no, you could have the perfect diet and you're still going to be missing things. So that's where, you just then, if you're very, very in tune with your body, that is wonderful. I mean, that's going to help you tremendously. You'll know what's working for you and what really benefits you and what doesn't. Obviously a lot of like the internal health things they're going to do more for prevention than they're going to have like a tangible benefit for you today. They're keeping your body healthy. So, if it keeps you from getting sick a couple weeks from now, if you don't get sick, because you were taking the product, you don't necessarily even recognize that you're getting that benefit. But you are. So it's a little bit harder with wellness products. With the sports performance stuff, if you're in tune with your body, you're looking for things that are going to help improve your performance, help your nutrition. But you still have to do all of those things on your own. They're not shortcuts, and anyone that tells you that they are, it's just not true. Some people's bodies do really well without anything, and that's wonderful for them. So I know personal trainers that they have phenomenal genetics. They look wonderful, and they've gone away with not taking a lot of supplements. And, I think it's just then a disservice to then tell their clients, you don't need supplements, because their clients might and probably are in a very different situation than them. I know how much supplements have helped me. You know how much supplements have helped you. Imagine your trainer who you're paying and looking up to tell you how to get where you need to go, telling you to avoid supplements completely. And then you waste years not trying things when they really could have made that difference for you. I'd rather people make the decision on their own. I'm not going to push anything on anyone. I know there's something out there that will help everyone, because everyone has nutrition gaps in their diet, though.
Yeah, I mean, and based on the general U.S. so-called North American diet that I've seen, there are some chasms, right? I know somebody who, he swears by it, and I can't get him to change his mind at all. I mean, I don't think he's had any food outside of fast food in the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. It's just how he does it. And he always complains about being sick, always complains about being sore, always complains about everything. I say to him, you can't make the connection, and he just can't. And maybe he's going to need something as severe as like what I had. I felt like I was against supplementation before, but actually, as you said that, I realized I did have a trainer that told me that back in the day. Mm-hmm. I had a trainer who I went to, was at this gym called Shapes, and they had these personal trainer sessions that you would get the first time in the gym to try to get you to sign up for more.
Yeah.
And I remember, man, I'm having some PTSD moment right here. I remember him saying to me, when I asked him about supplementation, he said they're a complete waste of time and money. And I think that might have led me down the path that I went down without using them. And then, like I said, in 2016, you're sitting there and you're laying there in bed, you can't move anything, and you're wondering what your life is going to look like. And you say things to yourself, and you say, I have to get healthy. I have no choice here. And then that's when the supplementation train started for me. I guess, okay, so next one I hear, this one I love, is friends always say to me when I'm talking about supplementation, so, well, my grandfather's generation didn't have any of this, and they were all big and strong. And so I love that one. I'm just curious what you'd say to that. I know what I say to it, but what would you say to it?
Well, your show is called Better. We're trying to continually improve as a society, as people, as a community. So I think there's always ways to continue improving. So just because a previous generation didn't do something doesn't mean that, you can or shouldn't.
Okay, so the internet just went out because we had a snowstorm in Winnipeg, and we still live like we're in the 20th century here in Winnipeg, Canada. So, but somehow, I don't know how, this is kind of a nice tip to StreamYard, the service we use, it stayed recording. Because it's a cloud service. Because you stayed on the entire time, right? You were just sitting there waiting for us?
I went out and went into another reopen the chat,
but it was still you could get in and everything. So yeah. So I guess because it's cloud, it just continued to record in the cloud. That's amazing and a nice feature that I didn't know we had. Okay, so where were we?
We were talking about the generational question.
Yes, the generational question. So yeah, what I was saying was 100% that I think I was using a comparison about something, the telephone, right? And, my mom used to tell me that you'd have to wait for your neighbors to get off the phone before you could call your friend. And then your neighbors could like jump into your phone call if they wanted to, and crazy things like that. So, science is always improving. Things are always improving. Everybody's looking to do better with everything, like you said. And the other thing I would say is previous generations moved a lot more than we do now. I mean, desk jobs. Like my grandpa was on my mom's side was a traveling salesman. He was always on his feet. My other grandfather was always out building houses, shoveling gravel, and just like he was. I don't even have a memory outside of like Christmas Day or something where my grandfather was actually in the house. My grandparents, my grandmothers were gardening, doing their thing. So I think that's a big piece of it too. Is people generally moved a lot more. I think that's also what I added to that argument.
Yeah, I think my general philosophy is like, you don't have to take anything. You take what's going to help you and benefit you. And there's access to more knowledge and more products these days than there were in the past. But totally agree with, it's important to stay active and keep moving. Keeps going back to, you have to, you want to be exercising and working on your diet and nutrition regardless of the supplements that you're taking.
Yeah, it's kind of, if you don't, it's almost like if you look at a job, right? Without the training, without the experience, without, basically full stacking your ability to do your job, you're not going to do your job well. And it's the same thing like this, right? Supplementation is a piece of health. It's not, you're by no means are you or I or anybody really saying that knows anything about this stuff. Supplementing, you'll be okay. That's all you need to do. That would be a weird argument to give anybody, I think.
Well, or if you have a tool and you don't know how to use it, then that's what's the point of having it.
Yeah, that's true. I had a drill for many years and I had no idea. My dad came along. He's like,
it's going to be useless for you. You just have to learn what works for you. That's really it.
Yeah, I would have to 100% agree with that. So, so this drink right here that I have, this is my post workout. So this is my glutamine, my musclin, and my citrulline in here. Maybe just in your viewpoint. So a few things about these sorts of supplements. Would you take these post or pre-workout or during workout?
So I personally take aminos intra-workout because most formulas have hydration blends, so they help you stay hydrated while you work out. So for me, rather than drinking water when I'm working out, I just like having something sweet to sip on and keep me hydrated. But performance wise, during or after, because you're taking it for recovery, both would be totally suitable.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. I think another added side effect that I loved about supplementation. So when I was coming up in my career, I worked in the bars a lot, and we're talking 6 nights a week, 7 nights a week, DJing, promoting, just the most unhealthy lifestyle ever. And I probably drank 20 to 30 glasses of pop a night, which is, I think about it now and I almost want to throw up just considering how much I drank. But this, amino IQs, these sorts of drinks, I don't need pop anymore. They taste so good now. They've gotten the formula down so well. You've made supplements. So here's an argument I get into a lot with, I have this staff member who, he'll go on like a 30, 60 day, just BCAAs and EAAs and all this stuff. He'll be drinking it, but he doesn't work out. Is there any benefit to him doing that without working out?
I would say that, probably wasting a lot of money there. If that's I'm all for that. If that is going to be your solution to not drinking something that's less healthy because you enjoy the way it tastes and it helps you replace something else. I think aminos are great to replace drinking a sugary Gatorade all day. Mm-hmm. I'm a big proponent of, water is key, you drinking lots of water. And I'm not against anything that helps you drink more water and makes your water taste good. That's not adding extra calories or junk to your body. If you're taking hydration or, recovery products for that reason. There's nothing wrong with that, but, it's not probably where I would be spending my money if I'm not actually going to the gym. Yeah.
Do you think is there ever a point where supplementation can be harmful?
As we said before, there are unfortunately a lot of products that are marketed as nutritional supplements, even in the US, that are not made in FDA inspected facilities, or that might even be made overseas, or is not properly tested. It doesn't happen too often where there's like a recall on something that is made in a really good facility. Generally, if you're taking a trusted brand, as long as you're following directions, you should be good. And most over-the-counter supplements are not dosed that well to where you can really overdose on things very easily. It depends on what you're taking. I'm a big proponent of limiting your caffeine consumption to 300 to 400 milligrams a day. Caffeine inherently isn't bad for you. It can help build strength in your heart. There are studies that show that. The problem is when you drink too much, you want to use it strategically for when it's going to help you the most. You don't want to be dependent on it. I think that really comes down to product to product. But a lot of it's very hard to overdose on a lot of just like nutritional supplements, aminos, things like that.
Right. Yeah. I've been hearing a lot lately, and I think honestly, I mean, you write anything, put it on the internet, and it's there, right? I've been seeing a lot of stories on Reddit and Quora, and Reddit being the sewer of the internet, that people are taking too many supplements, and it's giving them negative ramifications. And I think, I mean, I personally have never experienced that. I will say that of everybody I know, when people look at my supplement stack, they're like, gee, like you take a lot of supplements. I know that's the latest kind of that'll be the last objection we deal with it. Is there a case for that you can over supplement to the point of causing harm to yourself, or is this more like the witch that comes out of the forest when two kids are sleeping alone in the tent kind of thing?
If your supplements, if what you're taking is balanced, then I think you're totally fine. I think where it becomes a little bit more challenging is where you have a lot of stimulants involved. So you definitely want to limit that. But this is something that I was thinking like earlier today. I didn't get a chance to. I take all my supplements out of my gym bag and put them into a plastic baggie, and I take them with my pre-workout on the way to the gym. So it's like maybe 10 or 15 pills pre-workout, and kind of varies depending on what I'm taking at the time. I didn't get a chance to drink it on my way to the gym, so I had all these pills in my hand, different color pills, and I'm drinking my pre-workout standing in the middle of the gym, and I'm just looking around thinking like, somebody's going to come up to me and be like, you don't need all of that. What's all that going to do for you? And then in my head, I'm like, well, this does this, and this is doing this, and this is going to do this, and this is going to do this. And this I don't have to take right now, but I just don't want to forget to take it later. And, I know why I'm taking everything that I'm taking. Right. I know what I can take together. I think it can be foolish to take some things together, because then like you're not going to get that much added benefit by taking some, you don't need like 2 blood flow products, to take together. But if one thing is helping to push, nutrients in your muscle, and another thing's helping to drive water in there, and something else is going to help them your muscles contract harder and break down better. So you get a more productive workout. And then it's about taking things that are working synergistically together. And unfortunately, I think too many products on the market are designed just to say, oh, it can or should potentially do this. And they just kind of throw a bunch of stuff together to make something cheap that is marketable, that they can put some nice marketing on, make some claims around, and then sell. Maybe some, famous bodybuilders promoting it, and people are going to buy it because the marketing is there. And people will not know the difference between that and a quality product. And it's not because of a lack of information, or knowledge from the consumer. Like, I don't blame anyone for not knowing that this product is worse than this product. It's very hard to know that unless you're deep inside the industry and you know what things cost, and where there's shortcuts being taken, and where, a product is just being marketed using some kind of claim, and it's not really going to do that. Again, that's why I think it's really important to find people that you trust and brands that you trust, and that you have a good experience with. And unfortunately, especially for me, I wasted thousands of dollars on supplements. I want to say wasted, but yeah, I could have used that money a lot smarter. But I learned a lot taking all of those products to eventually find and learn what I know now. So I just take all that knowledge that I've gathered, not just from my personal experience, but from the experience of everyone that I work with, to help others, find what's going to really benefit them and be worth the money that they're spending on it. Because, we work hard to have a living and to, just live in our lives, and we want to just improve ourselves. And, I really, yeah, and be better. And, I really take it to heart when, I'm working with someone and trying to help them, that I am doing what's best for them.
Right. No, that's awesome. The internet cost us some time today, so maybe we'll have you back and we'll dive into some more.
That'd be great.
But the takeaway I want to have for everybody here is, if I always try to do a takeaway at the end of the show. If you are trying to do better in this regard of working out, getting healthy, I highly recommend adding supplements to it. I highly recommend going to Trevor, Advanced Supps, and you'll be able to see his socials and everything, so you can connect with him. And the key here is, you're your own person. You have a unique body about you, and you need to do things that feel good to you, that you notice a difference with. Don't just do it because somebody else said to do it. You personally want to be better. So in that search to be better, in terms of your health and all that, start with, like we talked about, one or a few, and build up from there. And always have somebody along the ride that can guide you, like Trevor can, and can help you make the right decisions for yourself, for your body. And you could be like me, right? In 2016, broken, unhealthy. 2023, I could run laps around myself. In 2026, in fact, I was paralyzed, so it's probably a bad example. I could run laps around my 15, 16, 17-year-old self when I was active all the time. So just keep that all in mind. If you're going on this personal betterment journey, and supplements is a part of it, which I think it should be, talk to somebody like Trevor, and help get that help, so that you're doing it right, and so you're not wasting thousands of dollars on the wrong supplements, as Trevor said. Trevor, before you go, do you got anything you wanna mention at all that we haven't covered yet?
As you mentioned before, you can start small. Start with one thing that's going to help you the most, and be what's most important to you. You always can expand it from there.
Right.
So I really appreciate you having me on, Jay.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, man. I love to talk about this topic, and unfortunately technological issues got in the way a little bit, but let's do it again. All right, let's and do go even deeper. And now we've got some kind of protest outside of our studio, and I don't know if you can hear that right now, but they're screaming outside. Can you hear it?
I can't from my end, but I saw in your previous video that you were having that going on then too. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in the city. It's just everybody's out. I hope it's at least for a worthy cause. But well, everybody connect with Trevor. What is the Instagram for the supplement company?
Advanced Advanced Supps. I don't know if there's an underscore. Sorry, I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. Well, look up Advanced Supps and it will come up. Underscore
Yeah.
or not.
Yep.
Space between, that'll do it. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I'll tag you and everything when it's all going out. And I look forward to having you back, brother. I really appreciate all the info you just gave everybody and their journey to be better.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Okay, guys. I will see you all again very, very soon. Later.
Thanks for checking out Better. If you got to the end, it must mean you liked the episode, right? So how about 5 stars, maybe a sub, maybe a share? Great universal comment points. And good luck on your better journey.